All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time that we have some good news. While we were sleeping, it appears that activist and Amazon labor organizer Chris Smalls, along with other activists, shut down the ports in Europe. They shut down over 21 ports in solidarity with the pro-Palestine movement. This is a big deal because without those ports in operations, obviously those weapons can't transfer from there to Israel. So let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm talking about. Shutting it down. Chris Smalls announced it the other day. Breaking news. On February 6th, trade unions from 5 different countries are shutting down 21 ports in the Mediterranean, Italy. We'll be calling it a third general strike. So we've been talking before about Italy and how the workers decided to stand up to push back against the genocide in Israel. I think this is 100% the right idea and the way to go about it. Again, people have been begging politicians. They've been begging them, stop sending weapons to Israel. But at the end of the day, you have to have those movements on the outside. And this is a perfect example of that. People on the outside trying to shut things down on their own. So yes, a general strike is a way of doing that. I 100% support general strike. We advocated for a general strike years ago on RBN. And we've been trying to explain to people you have to have these actions on the outside. It goes on to say here, shutting down the entire country, no more shipping weapons for endless wars and genocide. See you there. And here are the graphics here, as you can see in Italian. There's one there. There's another one. And another one here, which I'll show you a close up of that one. Dockers don't work for war. So this was an international solidarity struggle here. Again, shutting it down. There was one they did for ICE as well. But this is what I'm talking about, those actions on the outside. I want to give you a close up of that map here. Drop Site News also shared it. Dock workers in over 21 Mediterranean ports will be carrying out coordinated actions to block arms shipments bound for Israel. Unions and port workers in Italy, Greece, Turkey, Morocco, and the Basque Country are refusing to load, unload, or allow transit of military cargo destined for Israeli ports, including Ashdod and Haifa. The actions are being organized as a regional day of action led in part by Italy's USB union and Greek dock worker unions, with workers monitoring shipping data to identify weapons cargo. The campaign builds on port blockades dating back to 2023 and has been endorsed by the World Federation of Trade Unions under the banner, Dockers Don't Work for War. This is what I'm talking about. So you can see all the different ports they shut down here. And this is what we need, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, like you can still try to put pressure on politicians. But again, if you know they're taking money from the Israeli lobby, they're not going to help you. But at the end of the day, there are things that we can do on the outside. And I think for years, people have been looking towards the politicians to deliver these results, when in reality, there are things that we can do. It's one of the reasons why I support BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction, because that's something that we can do on the outside, and we don't need the approval of Congress to do so. So I want to show you the video here. Chris Smalls made the announcement. Again, kudos to Chris Smalls. Like I said, he doesn't have to be doing this. He had success with organizing and starting the very first union for Amazon in New York. That large Amazon warehouse, that's how a lot of people came to know of Chris Smalls, because he organized the workers. This is what I mean when I say organizing and building within your community. This is just one example, along with mutual aid. A lot of times people ask, well, what can we do? This is something you can do. If you can't physically get out and protest and all those types of things, there are other things that you can do. Build mutual aid networks. So I host a mutual aid workshop once a month. You're welcome to attend it. It's free. It's virtual. We've been getting pretty good turnout for those workshops because you really have to start building on your own. You cannot just sit back and rely on the politicians because, again, like I said, they work for their donors. So listen to the announcement here from Chris.
What's going on, everybody? It's Chris Smalls, the founder of the Amazon Labor Union, and I'm here in Rome, Italy, to be with my brothers and sisters of the USB tomorrow as we shut down the entire Mediterranean Sea. I'm happy to be here in solidarity because international solidarity is what we need in moments like this. We need our trade unions in America to pay attention to what we're doing here in Italy and expand on that. You're going to hear directly from my brother Francesco, who's going to tell you all about it.
Hello everybody, I'm Francesco on QSB. I'm so honored to have Chris Small here in Italy visiting us and stay together with tomorrow the International Day of Struggle. We involved 22 ports in 6 countries in Mediterranean European area, and we'll try to shut down, and we'll have a lot of demonstration in Italy and a lot of demonstration in other ports in Greece and Turkey and other countries. So we'll try to do this against the wars, against the genocide, against the aggression, against imperialism. But this is to defend our salary, to defend our labor, to defend our country and our lives. So every effort of solidarity, every message of solidarity will be welcome for our dock workers. Next time, another try to make another International Day of Struggle. Then the next month, and we'll see to do it bigger and greater. Thank you to Chris to be here with us.
That's right. Let's go ahead and drop the beat for them, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you the videos. They did go through with it. We're dropping the beat for worker solidarity against genocide. Drop the beat. Dance with me. Dance with me. Drop the beat. In the street. Woo! That is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We have the power collectively together, right? So stop sitting back begging and asking these politicians to do something that you know they already had the power to do, but they choose not to do it. We have to organize on the outside. So I 100% support this. This is what we got to do. Let's get into this article here by The Cradle. They go into a little bit more detail here. Mediterranean dock workers shut down over 20 ports in solidarity with Palestine. You can see the pictures here. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we can come out. This is what, look at all the people. Guys, look at this. Again, this is how the weapons move. So do you see, if you shut down the ports, you can't make the workers go to work and do it, right? Dock workers across the Mediterranean Sea stage a massive coordinated strike on February 6th, halting activity in more than 20 ports to protest the Israeli genocide of Palestinians in Gaza and the privatization and militarization of port infrastructure. Union organizers described the action as the result of longstanding dock worker solidarity with Palestine in their own fight for dignified working conditions at home. Ahead of the strike, ships that regularly transport military cargo to Israel altered their itineraries. Demonstrations began in ports across Greece, Turkey, and the Basque Country, where the Limon is Syndicasi rallied hundreds of members to deliver a message against genocide and in solidarity with Palestine. So without these dock workers, they have no way to move it. So this is really important. And I called for this as well in the United States. Like, if we really want the politicians to listen to us, we have to impact capital. And how do you impact capital? With a general strike, shutting down the ports, shutting down the railways. Remember, the railroad workers were trying to go on strike, shutting down the buses, right? The trucks that transport certain materials. That is really how you shake things up. The politicians know this. They know that we have the power, but they also know we're less likely to come together to utilize it. Now, why are we less likely to come together? We're less likely to come together because we're very much divided, and they keep us divided on 2 different teams. red and blue, Republican and Democrat. But things have been changing over the past couple of years, especially since the genocide in Gaza, where people have started to cross those lines. And that's why you see them coming after conservative commentators that are speaking out against the genocide. That's why you see other people coming forward to try to implement certain strategies, whether it's social media or the press, to try to get you to side with Israel, to go along with them. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu sent 1,000 pastors to Israel to try to get them to come back to the U.S. and to spread that propaganda to get on board with this. Because like I told you before, the idea is to have the power eventually centralized and located in Israel. That's tech, that's militarization, that is also surveillance. So people have to be on board with that. But shutting down those ports is a big, big win, I think. Let's go on more here. In Greece, dock workers highlighted a contradiction between the substantial European investment in remnant and the austerity measures that cut public services, which they argued has compromised safety positions. So you see how it impacts the workers. And they're showing some of the tweets here where they announced that they were going on strike. We will not accept work without rights. Development should mean going home alive. Ports are places of work, not war. They are places of sweat, not blood. So you see all the people that were sharing it there. Here's another one. Let's see if I can show you this one. See all the different flags? So this is what they don't want. They don't want us to come together as the people. Yeah. And you see, here's the thing. What can they do without the workers? And they know that workers are getting upset. That's why they want to try to find ways to replace a lot of these jobs with AI, with other forms of technology, because they know that the workers, number one, are starting to make more demands, whether that's a demand to unionize or a demand for higher pay. The reality is we really do have more power than we realize. Let's go back into this article here. I have another part to show you from that video as well later. Italy saw some of the largest mobilizations of the day, with coordinated strikes across more than a dozen ports involving dock workers, port employees, students, and members of the public. Even the students got in on this. The USB reported from all striking ports with assemblies displaying Palestinian and Cuban flags. The USB representatives argued that Europe's labor movement must adopt an internationalist orientation to confront the agenda of the EU and right-wing governments, including Prime Minister Meloni. So this is how labor and militarization is also connected. There you go. The politicians aren't going to tell you this. Politicians aren't going to tell you, well, if you guys really want to fight back, all you got to do is really shut down the ports. They know these things. They know this, right? So kudos again to Chris Smalls. Like I said, does not have to be out there doing this. He could have just ended his, solidarity and his organizing with establishing that Amazon labor union in New York, but he didn't stop there. Chris Smalls has traveled all across the country to help other people try to unionize regardless of industry. And he is also was a part of the Freedom Flotilla. Don't forget, he got on the boat to go over there to try to send aid to Gaza. He was imprisoned. He was beaten harshly and severely. He was choked by the IDF when the other members on the flotilla that he was on were not treated that such way. They were very racist towards him. And Chris Smalls is still out there fighting the fight. In fact, you'll see a video of him right here.
It's about to get real out here.
Fire and alcohol. Welcome to Geneva.
Welcome to Geneva. It's about to go down.
Yeah, there you go. And then we have another video here.
Free Palestine! Free
Yeah, man, I'm telling you guys, we have the power, right? So if people were to ask me, oh, well, do you have reasonable doubt when it comes to, organizing or whatever? Absolutely not. I do not have reasonable doubt about organizing. Organizing can work if it's done strategically and effectively. And this is what we need to do. Like, again, if you don't feel comfortable protesting for whatever reason, there's other things that you can do to participate. Everybody has a role in this type of movement. Maybe your role is to try to recruit more people. Maybe your role is to announce or promote on social media. Maybe your role is to help with flyering. This is another thing. Like when people announce these types of actions, they also have flyers. Are you artistic? Are you a graphic designer? You don't have to be a graphic designer, but are you artsy in such a way that you can design a flyer for these types of things? Everyone has a role. And I don't want anyone to feel like they have to, risk their lives or whatever. They have to be out there on the streets if they can't be, or if they don't feel comfortable being that way. Everyone has a role where they can participate. Here's another video here that I want to show you guys. Sorry, I think the other one was moving. There's so many videos. Hold on. Here we go.
Because there's no other solution. We must rise, people. Come together, use your power, and shut it down. 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 Shut it down.
So the Italians, they're out there doing it. People are out there doing the damn thing. So again, kudos to the activists, kudos to Chris Smalls and them. They also got a shout out here from Code Pink. Solidarity with workers shutting down the major Mediterranean ports for Palestine today. We echo their demands. We don't work for war. That's what I'm talking about. Oftentimes these things are not promoted, right? So sit back and wait and see how many people make a video about this. This is why a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what we can do. Well, unfortunately, a lot of times the largest platforms don't even advertise these things. They don't even tell you that these things are happening. So that's part of the problem, right? Whether it's corporate media or independent media. But this is just one example. So kudos to Chris Smalls and all the activists for doing the damn thing. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.